Hey, we're going to be looking at something that you might think is of an older generation. Every time I talk about jazz, Palesa's like, Ben, you old. No, no, no. It's not just for
No,
the
Ben,
old.
don't lie about me. Do not lie
She
about
just
me,
rolls her
Benji.
eyes and she's like, oh,
Oh
there's
my
the
gosh.
oldie going
Benji,
on about
first
this
of all,
jazz
I
music.
listen to a lot of jazz.
Yeah, no,
I
no, I'm
listen
just
to a
teasing
lot
you.
of
I'm
jazz.
allowed to tease you.
Are you allowed to tease me? But don't lie about me to the world. The whole African continent is listening to this and they don't know if you're telling the truth or you're lying. So
Okay,
I have to
I'm
say,
lying is not teasing. I'm teasing
you are
you.
lying
Okay.
while you're teasing.
Well, there's a younger generation that's actually part of the experience of jazz. It's not just an event. I think it's kind of a movement. It's called Kids Love Jazz, which brings together talented young musicians and seasoned jazz performers for a gathering of music and fun, specifically designed to cater to a younger audience. And it's very interactive at times. At times, it includes workshops, live performances, hands-on activities. It's the perfect introduction to the world of jazz, promoting creativity, self-expression, and a lifelong love of jazz. We're joined by Vuyo McGlad, who's a founding director of Kids Love Jazz on the show. They're having an event that's coming up as well in Joburg and Cape Town, and we're looking forward to that as well. Vuyo, thank you for joining us here on Channel Africa.
Thank you for having me, and thank you for the viewers as well.
Vuyo, I'm looking at how young you are and how young you sound. I'm like, this guy runs an entire festival on a generation of people that was actually older than him. How did you come up with this concept of Kids Love Jazz? Because one wouldn't have thought that a young person like you would actually be so engaged with such a genre.
Look, man, igama lami uVuyo. So with Kids Love Jazz, from its inception, I think it came about. It wasn't just me; it was like a group of everybody in my team. So we do shows called narrow buy shows. So it's like different properties, you know. So we like going outside, we like going to different shows, like other festivals, you know. So we went to Jazz in the Lights, and that time Kujenga was playing Jazz in the Lights for the first time. Kujenga is like a band, a jazz band as well, from based in Cape Town. So when they were playing, we just saw like this like a rap, like we just saw kids. I don't know if you know, like if you've been to Chasing the Lights, it's
Yeah.
at the
Yeah.
zoo. So we just saw like the youth just like moving from lapha bebahleli khona, from different places, just going to the stage just to listen to Ikujenga, and they were singing along to
Sure.
that. You know, then you just started like chanting, yo, you know what, kids love flipping jazz. You know, so we were so amazed by the amount of um the youth that like listen to jazz, you know. So after that, I think two months down the line, we was like, nah, flip it, let's just like start our own thing, you know, and like have something that like is inclusive for the youth.
And I think that example of Kujenga is a fantastic example because I
Yeah.
only got introduced to them very recently, which was last year, but they've been around in the city for a long time. But they
100%.
are an outfit of very, very young musicians, and they've released, I think, up to 2 albums, if not three, right now, and just doing a wonderful work in terms of the jazz genre. And it's not just the listeners that are jazz lovers, it's also the musicians themselves. So it's also a wonderful celebration to be in this moment where the genre is actually not just loved by listeners, but also it is a practitioner. It is a practice, rather, that many young practitioners are now delving into.
For sure, for sure. I think it's something that we should like look at, you know. Your Miriam Makeba, your Begim Selegus, so they did not start being jazz artists at 40, you know, they started as young cats, you know. So I think that it was a lost art, you know, what we're reviving something that's there. We're just like pointing it out to people that, yo, the kids love jazz. It's just a reminder, yo, we still love jazz, you know. So like it's nothing new, really. It's just like we're creating that platform, you know, that like kids can just like own it and say this is ours, you
Yeah.
know.
And I'm
Yeah.
glad that you're saying it's nothing new, because that example you gave was great. Some of the greats that we know didn't just start at their elder age, but there was something different of that time, because the youth music of their time was jazz, and then they grew with it, and we saw the evolution. So when we when we were young, we saw jazz as an older people genre,
Sure.
because they were already old at the time. We have so many genres right now that we're growing up with, and jazz isn't really the most mainstream one. So what do you think it is that has drawn young people back into a genre that wasn't the genre of their youth, however, a genre that they still resonate with?
I would like to raise my hand and say we are also part of this revolution that's happening. I was talking to a friend weeks ago, and we are just talking about how like this rapture thing is a real thing. Like everyone loves jazz now, like jazz was not a thing, So it's I think it's like it's an era thing, It's like it's that era again where we're reviving it, like we're bringing it back, So it's if we look at all the genres, like your R&B, your kwaito, like they all come from jazz. R&B is rhythm and blues. Blues is one of the category of jazz. Like everything comes from jazz, because jazz is just instruments. Like you need instruments to make a beat. So so jazz is there. But also another thing that it's just a realization that I had recently is that jazz is healing, so like in different ways. Like you can just like sit down and listen to jazz. Like there's a certain type of jazz that you can listen to and then you just heal. And we are in need of healing as people, yeah.
But I also think one of the advantages that kids love jazz is doing is that you've got young people who even understand eventing, but also from a social media context, right? I like how you frame your event when it comes to just the imaging of it in terms of your branding, but also how you put your content online. Do you think that's also been something that's been a recipe where you're able to access a younger generation?
100%. I think it's one advantage that we have as the team is that 90% of us come from an advertising space or a creative space. So we are able to bring all those ideas in and know what market, like, how to approach the markets that we have, from the look and feel of the shows, from the posters that we put out. We don't just put out posters, but then we put out with an intention to attract people. So I think another thing that attracts the kids is we try and make sure that our tickets are not expensive. Jazz is expensive, like musicians are expensive,
Yeah.
but we try and still keep it into, or which we don't even know how we do it, but then we do it. But we try and keep the tickets into an affordable price for students, because that's one thing that's years ago that's still happening now, that jazz spaces are not accessible to the youth, so you need to break your bank in order to just go to a show, which is fine, but then we don't want that for the youth. We want youth to be able to be in these spaces as well.
Fantastic. I see you've got a lot of fans on our social media. I see Katlego Katli Mkhwanazi say kids love jazz, and I see them with a lot of heart memes there, and I see Porsche and Tsikani so saying kids love jazz. So kids love jazz is taking over our social media as well. Guys, stop it. Nah, this is Channel Africa.
Oh, don't stop. We love it. Don't stop.
Well, thank you for joining us on that live stream. If you're not, you can join us there on our Facebook page, simply titled Channel Africa, or you can go to our YouTube page, also using the handle at Channel Africa 1. It's 20 minutes past 10 o'clock Central African time. Stay with us.
Download the SABC app and take Channel Africa with you everywhere you go.
Darubini ya Afrika na I am Henry Shakif.
Mgombea urais wa chama cha wananchi CUF Gambo Samatindo ameitaka serikali ya Tanzania kuweza kutoa msimamo wao wa wazi kuhusiana na matukio ya utekaji watu. Tamko hili la mgombea huyu wa CUF mnalichukuliaje na nini mtazamo wenu?
Haya ndio masuala ambayo sisi kama watetezi wa haki za binadamu au shirika la utetezi tunapenda sana, ni moja ya kazi ambayo tunaifanya.
Lakini tatizo hili limekuwa sugu kwa hivi karibuni. Hili linaleta tafsiri gani kwa nchi ya Tanzania kiujumla? Mnasimamia wapi mpaka hivi sasa, na je, mmekwisha kutoa tamko lolote?
Ndio, sisi tulitoa statement yetu. Sasa ni jambo la kutisha sana kuona mambo yanaendelea, na inatisha sasa hivi sana. Watu wanaonekana kukasirishwa sana na matukio ya namna hii.
Darubini ya Afrika kila Jumatatu hadi Ijumaa kuanzia saa 11 kamili hadi saa 12 kamili jioni majira ya Afrika ya Kati.
Keeping you on the know and on the move.
It is indeed true. The kids do love jazz, and that's an exciting event that we're chatting about in this hour of the show. Still joining us, Vuyo McGlad, who is the founding director of the event Kids Love Jazz. You know, we've been speaking a lot about the audiences, which have been fantastic. The energy that young people bring to the jazz genre, their excitement, their enthusiasm. They're willing to learn, and grow with the genre as well. But there's another end that we haven't touched on, is the artists themselves. Jazz artists are also kids, the new kids on the block, who are fantastic, and they really are bringing new ways to explore this genre. So let's speak about the intergenerational play of this genre that's taking place right now. We're seeing younger artists come in, but they're paying ode to some of the older artists, and there's a beautiful interaction that's taking place in the jazz scene now.
Yeah, 100%. I think it's like I said, I think it's our era now, you know. So we kind of like trying to put shine out there, you know, that they are, as much as like we still respect the older people, you know, like the jazz artists, they are still like talented young people. You know, you look at the Offensive Sebula, you know, who's currently on a tour, Eswatini, coming back, you know. I think jazz is not mainstream, but then it's very important, you know. Like, one thing that people did not see is at the Kabza and Palesa show, at the Scorpion King.
Yeah.
So if you are a jazz fanatic, you would have known everyone who was playing there, because they are also individuals, you know. Like seeing them going there on those stages, seeing them going on Red Bull, playing with Kelvin Momo, it's such a great thing to see. Well, okay, cool, this thing is alive. It's not just a trend, you know. It's like it's putting food in their tables. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right. Putting together an event is a lot of hard work, right? What we see is just the performances and the outcome. But also approaching the artists, I'm sure at the beginning they were like, "Who are you guys? Kids Love Jazz. What event do you guys want to start with us?" No, we're not coming. How did you convince the artists themselves to say, "Look, we want to do this and it's gonna work"?
So our first show, it wasn't easy. I think we got like so many no's from people, but then we also got so many yes from people, you know, even the likes of Msaki offering to perform, which was great, you know. I think it's a matter of making people understand the vision that we have, you know. So there's this like energy that comes with Kids that we don't even understand where it's coming from, but then it's just exciting energy that there are kids out here that are doing this thing, you know. So that approaching people that understand that there is a need to preserve and archive jazz, you know, like whatever festival that is there, maybe they might fade away or the vision might be lost, you know, but then there is something new, you know. So I think making them understand that we're here not just for ourselves, but then to like preserve this genre was our selling point to the artist, you know. Like Omakum Gianni, we some of them, we even had like contract that, guys, if you don't make money, we won't be able to pay you. And they still came through and
Wow.
performed with the
Wow.
hopes that it's going to happen, you know. So finding people like that, even for sound, I think we coughed out like close to 50K for sound,
Wow.
but it was someone that we have been working with before, you know. So it was just like a leap of faith, like, yo, I trust these kids to do something crazy, and it happened,
Wow.
you know. So yeah,
You know
but
what?
it's not easy.
Yeah, and I think that you're also underselling this concept to a large degree, and I'm giving you props here because I think we've always categorized jazz for a particular demographic, right? And I think what many people in a country like South Africa, we don't sometimes understand that genres have multiple demographic appeals depending on how you stylize it and how you present a particular event, right? And I think that's what you guys have done. You said we're going to create an event, but we're going to stylize it that appeals to a particular demographic. But what you did in the same time, you kind of broke a certain myth that jazz music is also for an older generation.
Yeah, I think I'm just gonna steal that quote. Stylized, we stylized. Yeah, just people look, they were gonna post it. Yeah, I think I do agree. I do agree with you in that chat. Like I think, like I said in the beginning, that we're very intentional with like the branding. Kuluma Mama Kuluma is our design lead, you know, and we just like have faith as well in her to whatever that she comes up with. We just like, okay, Kulu, you know, we believe in you, you know. So we we make it appealing really for other people, you know, to like it, you know. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Let's talk a little bit about the events that are coming up. Recently, you have just released some tickets, and we can expect multiple events. I know you've got a Joburg and a Cape Town event coming up.
Yes, we do. So we're starting off with Joburg on the 2nd of November at the playground. The lineup is packed. We've got Tandin Duli, we've got a surprise, we've got Monet, who sings in Venda. It's amazing. We've got Vuyo McGlad, who plays the flute, but also has a band. Then we've got like LOC, which is an upcoming band as well, which when you think of them, you think of the Beatles, you know, Harari, you know, Bo, Sipo, Hot Sticks, Mabuse, and them, you know, like they are currently they are the faves, you know. They speak on Fizz Must Fall, they speak on like local issues as well, you know, like their approach is amazing. And you've got Cape Town. In Cape Town, we approaching it differently with the Cape Town one. It's happening on the 9th of November. So it's going to be at the theater, Homecoming Center, Star Theater. So we've never had a theater show before. So it's just like people are going to be seated, you know, as much as like people complain that we want the same vibe in Josie, but then you're just trying something new, and we are grateful that Abantu they're receiving it like with open hands, you know, like people are buying the tickets, you know. And also we have something tomorrow. It's a great day. We filmed this. We're screening a film of the previous Kids Love Jazz shows. Yeah.
That's nice. That's really nice. Well, we'll have to leave it there. Let's talk about where we can find you, where we can find, you know, more information about Kids Love Jazz and the events that are taking place.
Okay, so on all social media platforms, it's at Kids Love Jazz, one word. And then at Narobai on Twitter, NAROW_BR.
Love that. Thank you so much, Vuyo. What a pleasure to chat to you. These are incredible events, and we look forward to see how many, other concepts you guys come up with, especially in this space.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
You are welcome. That is the founding director of Kids Love Jazz, Vuyo McGlad, speaking about this really exciting event where young people really are changing the face of what the genre of jazz looks like.